Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. In today's video I am going to cover the fastest race that we've actually ever had within GT7 so far. This is a race in which the cars are travelling at an average speed of over 270 miles per hour, and in all honesty it's a bit of a meme race. It's a complete joke, however I am all for it. It's so bizarre. If we look at the car list, it's actually chosen them for us with modifications. We have cars such as the Supra RZ from 1997, R34 GTR, the RE Amemia, the Viper GTS from 2013, the ZR1 C6, the GTR Nismo without a wing, so it's got full drag looking spec on this thing. And then if we travel down to the bottom over here, we have the likes of the Mercedes AMG GT Black Edition, the Aventador SV, the Huayra 2013, and of course the Bugatti Chiron. Now, surprisingly enough, if you go into the qualifying times, you'll actually see out of the whole bunch of these cars, it's the Mercedes AMG GT Black Series that is actually kind of the standout, as well as the Corvette ZR1 C6, which seems to perform very well alongside the likes of the GTR. Surprisingly enough, the Chiron isn't really anywhere, to be honest. I've never seen it perform too well in all the runs I've actually done so far. So let's boot the event up and head in. This was my first ever run at this event, and just the absolute surprise I got when I jumped in here. I didn't bother qualifying or anything like that. As you can see, it takes place at the absolutely infamous Special Stage Route X, which is essentially a ridiculously big long oval. It's just really such a stupid track, but it is so funny. In fact, it's one where if you actually want to go and grind your daily tickets and that, jump in a Tomahawk, and in all honesty you'll get it in no time. If you haven't got much time in the day, there's a quick little tip for you. So, since I didn't qualify and this was my first run, if you can't beat them, join them. So I went for the AMG Black Series, and as you can see, we've got a starting grid mainly of the AMG. We've got a couple of GTRs in there, a C6 ZR1, as well as a Bugatti Chiron up at the back there. Now, surprisingly enough, I was actually really kind of shocked that the Chiron just wasn't that good of a car. Like I said, I've just never seen it perform too well. I've seen GTRs perform quite well, and I've seen the Black Series obviously absolutely just dominating this event. So we're going to get underway anyway, and as you can see, we're going to jump in between, kind of behind here, TCR Inferno Fox. We've also got nitrous enabled in this event, which is just absolutely ridiculous, and it's basically going to be an entire 4 minutes of just basically following each other. It is so stupid, but it's actually rather quite fun. It's some proper kind of tight pack racing that you don't usually see within GT7. You are literally riding bumper to bumper and just basically using your strategy to find the right time to absolutely slingshot around everybody and try and get yourself across that line at first. In all honesty, your starting position here really isn't that critical. If you can keep with the pack, then you are in good contention to basically take a win. Now, obviously, we know that this is a daily race A, so SR and DR is not enabled, so you don't have to worry kind of too much about that. But if you just want some dumb fun, in all honesty, I cannot recommend this event enough. I've ran it quite a few times so far, and in all honesty, I've had some great little races. The fact that this is just a one-lap sprint short shootout really doesn't take away from the fact that some of this tight pack racing is actually really interesting. So as you can see, we moved out the slipstream for a little while, and it did drop us back into the clutches of the Nismo GTR. We're just a little bit back from another AMG Black Series. As you can see, we've got the Frenchman just up in front, and we are topping out around about 273 miles per hour. Now we're coming to the end of the first big long straight. This is where it's basically going to loop around and take you back up the other side. I believe in the middle you've kind of got the airport and the lake and all that stuff. And as you can see, basically all of us are going to get up really nice and high. However, I see a little bit of a gap where I can get a bit of a slipstream off the loop here, and basically hope that I can kind of just get a few positions gain there, and then we'll both kind of jump back in the pack and try and, you know, kind of gain up from there. But it does seem like, you know, he's been able to hold himself on the kind of loop and on the banking quite well without a slipstream. But as you can see, the GTR absolutely launches from behind, absolutely out of nowhere. So we've dropped a little bit back out the slipstream here. I'm trying not to get contact, even the kind of, you know, most odd slightest touch at this kind kind of speed, and it's going to rocket both of you into the barrier, and that will be game over from there. The last thing you ever want to do in this race is basically be away from the pack. If you are not in the line or not in the pack, you are going to drop so much time. It is literally a slipstream race. You know, think of it a bit like NASCAR and such, where, you know, it's all about kind of drafting and, you know, trying to pick off, you know, the correct timing to basically pull out of the slip, get that move done, and then kind of just rinse and repeat. So you can see here we are topping out, and we've got the Luke that's basically pulling us along here at a nice steady speed. If you look at my nitrous bar, I've only used a little bit at the start. I'm basically holding back until the end and hoping to give myself a nice big push across the line, when basically we're all going to just spread apart and try and get the jump on each other out of the slipstream. So it's just a case of basically picking my moment. I've kind of settled down into a momentum here of where, you know, I don't want to just go ahead and just completely jump them, you know, too soon. If I do that, then in all honesty, I risk just coming out of the pack, coming out of the slipstream, and just losing a ton of time. In all honesty, it is surprising how quickly you will drop time once you're out of this slip. So I see this car pull out here. I've just avoided a bit of contact there, using a bit of nitrous to keep me going, and we're going to try and run a bit of a slip in a bit of a two-line formation. But he is going to jump back into the pack, and this is going to cause me to try and do the same, but try and, you know, find anywhere I can try and make some moves. But it's just not happening. The Luke has got this one defended pretty well. So here we are about to run the final banking. As you're going to see, the GTR is going to get a little bit of a love tap, and that is going to fling it into the barrier at massively high speed. That is sadly going to drop TCR Inferno Fox out of contention. However, he did an amazing job to keep that thing going. So let's go and have a quick look at that. As you can see, we're coming into the final bank. He's going to take one straight up the inside and another, and he does manage to kind of keep it going. And yeah, it could have been much more disastrous, although, you know, he did drop a bunch of positions, which probably really did pee him off. But, you know, he did keep the car going, which is, to be honest, all that matters. So well held by him. It was absolutely awesome to just, you know, see that GTR keep up there, or yeah, you know, kind of keep it running instead of just flying off and getting absolutely rammed into the barrier. So massive well done to him. So anyway, let's go back to the footage. The GTR has been completely flung off at this point. We are going for the run out of the final corner at any moment. I'm starting to use the nitrous, as you can see, trying to get the run. We are gaining and gaining and gaining, trying to keep in the slip. People are trying to break apart and just, you know, make as many moves as they can. We're going to get a bit of a run here, and as you can see, it is going to put us over the line into third position, actually, because one of the cars did have a penalty. I'm going to assume that may have been for contact there with the Nismo GTR. So we got ourselves on the podium, no qualifying. So there you go. That is the massively memed race at Special Stage Route X, with the custom cars putting out around about 1,000 brake horsepower and an average top speed of 270 miles per hour. So when I saw this event being announced, it was kind of interesting looking at the cars and just seeing how it may or may not work. Obviously, these are rented cars, and in all honesty, I must say I'm pleasantly surprised. This was a very fun event. It's one that I've been running, you know, just kind of when I've got a few minutes spare, I might just kind of jump in and, you know, see what's going to happen in the next race. I've seen cars fly off. I've seen, you know, people take the win from the back just by being that good at slipstreaming. In all honesty, this is a very, very fun race, and it's probably much more tactical than you may think at first glance. You know, being able to keep yourself in that tight pack, trying not to drop back, you know, thinking when to use your nitrous, who can pull you along best, and, you know, who's going to, you know, help you get to that finish. You know, it's kind of a race where you don't want to be in first for the majority of it until right at the end, when you want to just launch yourself and slingshot out of that slipstream. So overall, this is a fairly interesting event. So thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss an upload from me. I upload GT7 and motorsport content each and every day for your viewing pleasure. I'll have my Discord and all that good stuff down in the description below. Have a fantastic day, guys, and I will see you later on. Peace.